The idea for Grow came from my own experience of mental health issues and finding that there's something about being in a city environment which can be very triggering if you're feeling vulnerable or anxious. It's very overwhelming, there's a lot going on, it's very complex, and there's something about getting out into nature which is incredibly soothing and relaxing and gentle, and for me one of the most powerful things that I found really improved my well-being was about getting out into the wider countryside. I did conservation volunteering with the National Trust, and so speaking to one of the wardens there, we talked about starting up a project that would enable people to get away from the stresses and triggers of city life and experience the really beautiful countryside that is so close to Brighton and Hove, but a lot of people feel that they don't know how to access, or they're feeling too fragile and vulnerable to actually access this quite amazing, powerful, healing resource that's right on our doorstep.
I haven't got a car, and the buses are quite difficult to get, and I have to use a walking stick as well. So it has to be really worked out well when I come out. And people here give me the time and help me. Take my stick, push me up the horse.
So we work in partnership with the National Trust up at Settlescombe Farm, and we've got a range of activities that we do there. We do some conservation stuff, we do things like hedge laying and footpath restoration. We've done some green woodworking, we do guided walks, nature walks, butterfly walks, bluebell walks. But I think the essential thing about Grow is it's not about doing in the countryside, it's about being in the countryside.
It's something special, you know, when you get here it's going to be something special, you know, and it never disappoints, you know. I like walking, you know, I like the walks, I like gardening, I like the moments of peacefulness that you get like now, you know, with those beautiful clouds reflected in the river. I need things like that.
We put a lot of effort into ensuring that people feel safe within the group, and we have a high level of support for people so they can come however they're feeling. If they're having a day when they're feeling very wobbly, there'll always be somebody to talk to. There'll always be time to just sit and enjoy the countryside, somewhere where you feel really safe and cared for.
And one of the things the project participants say is really important to them is that they can turn up to Grow however they're feeling and know it's going to be okay, and that they'll feel better by the end of the day.
What I like most about the project is that I can trust everybody, really, and that it's well run, and that I know that every single time I come here, whatever it is, I'm going to have a lovely time and go home feeling really happy.
There's more and more research about how nature has a very beneficial effect on our well-being.
Psychologically, as far as I could tell, being there for the time I visited, was the fact that although the group were there in nature doing activities and also having talking in a group, the fact that they're in nature seemed to me to work as an unsaid or an unacknowledged backdrop a lot of the time. Just having that backdrop allowed them to reduce their anxiety, to be calmer, to be more open with other people, to feel more at peace with themselves and with other people. So if you like, all the evidence base in psychology that we assume comes into play in these kind of situations, rather than it being something intellectual or abstract, you can actually see it happening in reality, in combination, in a situation like Grow.
I think going out into countryside and to get away from sort of city living and all the demands that the city living has on us. Whereas you come out here into countryside and you really get a sense that it holds you. You can sort of lose yourself within that environment, and yet at the same time, in a sort of magical way, you find yourself.
The project's very much been devised and developed by people who've had their own experiences of emotional distress, and as Grow develops, people continue to be very involved with the format and the actual activity days that we do. It's a very empowering project to be involved with, because people really feel like they have choice to do the things that they want to on an everyday basis, but also choice about how the project itself develops and grows.
There's quite a few people who sort of moved on to something, a new career or a new sort of hobby, which they would never have started if they hadn't have come out here. And I think that's quite a major thing. Actually, I think it is quite a life-changing project that we're beginning here.
We've got really good connections with other projects locally, and people quite often go on to volunteer with other groups. But we also encourage people to stay with Grow and become volunteers with us as well. And it's proved a really good progression route for people to move on to education and work. And some people have even discovered whole new careers.
I'm just sort of rebuilding my interests again and learning how to enjoy things and be happy again. And all the different stuff we do has given me the chance to do stuff that I wouldn't have had the chance to do before, really.
I just, every time I come out, I have a wonderful experience. It doesn't matter how I feel first thing in the morning or what the weather's like or anything like that. I just know as long as I get here, it will be great.
It's something to look forward to. It's something, if you miss it, you get really upset because you know what it's going to do for you when you get out here. So you kick yourself if you miss it.
I think it's what its name is, Grow. It's helping me grow. Yeah.
Spread your roots into the